Hey everybody, good to see you. So I built an app. So it's called SafeSteps, and we're empowering campus commuters through community reporting. I'd like you guys to meet a very special person to me. Meet Jaso. He's a fictional person, actually. But just like, yeah, I guess most of you, he's a student on campus. But he's facing a problem. You see, when Jaso woke up today and headed to class as usual, he came across this. It's a construction site blocking ComAv. The trouble is the sidewalks have been closed off, so in order to get to class, he actually has to go around the block, just like 2 blocks and cross the street, because his normal crossing is blocked. Now, he didn't really have a way to know this when he woke up. Through the information, though that information was probably publicly available, he definitely wasn't anticipating this. And as a result, he missed his first lecture for the day, which was kind of sad. And for most people, Jaso's plight is not the most important issue in the world. However, there are still a myriad of different non-emergency situations that commuters may have to face on a daily basis. And in addition to this, faculty, admin, and staff who are commuters on campus also have to encounter these issues with little to no warning. And though there exist official channels to report these issues, they're often overlooked. Like, for example, when's the last time you stopped to pull up the BU facilities website to actually go and make a report online? At the same time, ignoring these issues for too long can lead to accessibility issues for people who rely on a safe community to work and live in. So that brings us to the vision of this project. I wanted to create a unified platform that can aid BU campus improvements and safety by facilitating community reportings of unsafe phenomena. In this way, the BU community is able to plan ahead for trips and to easily report situations with little hassle and hold the university and the city of Boston accountable for accessibility and safety issues. The app takes significant inspiration from the Waze and Citizen apps, and if you've heard of those, and it aims to apply those flows to a BU campus setting. So yeah, this is my app. I'm pretty much going to be talking to you about the process that we went through from start to finish. And then I'll go into showing you a couple more screenshots of the app as well. So here's like the rough roadmap. During the start of the fall semester, we started conceptualizing the project through Spark's Innovation Fellowship class. This is where I met my technical and also UI UX teammates who helped build and design the app. Then we moved into app development, where we finalized our tech stack, made sure that it's cross-platform for both iOS and Android, and really started fleshing out the design based on user stories and validation interviews. We then started working on integrating some external hardware to the app because our original idea involved using Bluetooth to get a user's precise location. However, we had mixed success with this, as it wasn't super practical to implement. However, we still took this to the end of semester demo day to sort of demo our beta concept, where we received valuable feedback from stakeholders, students, and software engineers alike. And we took those learnings into the next semester as we went ahead and narrowed our priorities and scope for the spring development. In this regard, we began iterating each week and developing features. At the same time, I began looking into RTK GPS, which stands for Real-Time Kinematics GPS, which is a way to use hardware to get centimeter level GPS accuracy, so using like an external beacon to do so. The potential of this technology is such that if we can get centimeter level accuracy, it allows us to collect real-time data and really like understand pedestrian movements. And so over the course of the semester, I've looked into sort of the feasibility of this, looking into certain libraries and different ways to get this going. Okay. Then I was able to meet with a couple of key figures in administration to sort of pitch my idea to them, among them being the Assistant Director of Transportation, the Chief of the Police Department. I also met with the Director of Custodial Operations and the Director of Communications. So I learned a lot of domain-specific considerations from each of their respective departments, and how that can tie into a campus-wide app experience. And finally, at the end of development, which was like last week, starting of April, we started beta testing. So we conducted a 3-week study of around 25 students who got the app and used it for 3 weeks, submitting forms each week, and that helped us finalize and validate our product. So with the whole roadmap out of the way, let's talk about the functionality app. So I'm gonna go across a couple of screens. So this is our homepage. on the right is the map with markers representing reports. And each report is anonymous and can be seen by everybody. You can tap on a marker to read more details. And there's also an alert preferences page for when you come close to a marker, you're able to get a report, and you're able to customize the way you get that as well. Next is the report menu. So once you click on the rightmost tab, you're able to access buttons to call Boston 311 and 911 for emergencies. There's also a contact button to contact the team itself, and links to different reporting forms on your phone. Moving forward, if you click one of those buttons, you get taken to a reporting form where you can access drop-downs for the specific type of issue that you're reporting, the neighborhood that you're closest to. You can also use the map to fine-tune your location. And aside from the description, you're also able to upload a photo for the report to provide better validation. And finally, we go into the sub-reports category to validate whether the report is still relevant in the environment. If you've used Waze, this is sort of like that button, is this thing still here? So that's basically the functionality of that, and it's easy to crowdsource validation. Now, going into the actual methodology that I used to validate this app, there was a 3-week period with 25 students eligible for a $20 reward, testing on both iOS and Android. And this was basically used to track small features, updates, and bug reports in order to iterate. Next, we went into user interviews, where we conducted 5 interviews eligible for a $30 reward. And through this, we gained a better understanding of user preferences and individual experiences within the app, and that really helped us tailor some of the user flows. And finally, I wanted to talk about the learnings from administration and other stakeholders. I learned more about how admins and directors coordinate responses to reports, and that there's a great administrative desire to switch to electronic reporting systems, even though that capability doesn't exist in an app form currently. And also from the Assistant Director of Transportation, wanted to understand pedestrian habits better through collecting real-time mobile data to be able to build models. So there's definitely, I think, a future for an open source app like this. Now, in terms of future considerations and also just like a general reflection, this is, I essentially went through creating the process of a startup in terms of everything from branding, marketing, and also on the technical side. So I wore many hats during the process. It was hard to keep focus at certain times, but it's also important, I think, to prioritize a goal state rather than the perfect goal state. It's also important to be flexible and adapt to environmental changes, and to absorb everything you hear in terms of praise and criticisms alike, as it it just lends to a better product in the end. In terms of a future direction, I'm hoping to continue this project through Spark's XLab as a client, where we would be able to integrate the project with Boston 311 or the City of Boston data sets or apps, just to be able to submit via existing pipelines for users. So just have that as an easy to use front end for that. And I've also listed a couple other potential directions, including the integration of the RTK GPS tech that I mentioned. And lastly, I'd like to say a big thank you to student team, Max, Kit, and Jen, and to my research advisor on the RTK GPS side, Professor Mancuso, along with his PhD student, Basel, and also to the admin at BU Spark, Ziba, Assad, and yeah. And finally, this is just a slide of my links and resources. I'll be outside after the presentation if you guys want to try my app on iOS. For Android, if you have an Android, you can still try it. It just might be a little longer to get it working, but it's still possible. Thank you very much.
Okay, great job. Does anyone have any questions?
Hello. Really nice job. Can you talk a little bit about what you see as the daily use? How would a person get up and use the app?
That's a great question. And actually through the user interviews, we were able to clarify what kind of person would want to use this app. I think 2 things come to mind. One person who is a person who wants to be aware of things that are happening on campus in terms of looking out for their own personal safety. And another type of person I imagine would be somebody who is maybe new to the Boston area and wants to again, like, look out for their safety, but also just be aware of like things that are happening in unfamiliar areas. So yeah, no worries.
We're going to have one more question from.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. Looking back at the app making process, what are some things that you were really proud of, and what were some things that you wish you had done differently?
Looking back at this entire process, I was talking about this with one of my advisors, Assad, and he said, like, the goal of this entire program is for you to like go through this process and then be sort of like at the end, be like, oh, I could have done this. Now having known everything I know, I could have done this in 2 months. And then I could have, just gone ahead. So that's sort of like, looking back, I wish I had known a lot of like the technical, considerations of like creating an app. At the same time, though, it was a valuable learning process, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you, Rithvik, and all of the people who asked questions. We've got about 5 minutes until our next presentation.